You are watching Books, Booze, and Horror Reviews. Welcome to my channel. So I'm excited today because I'm finally about to make my first whole ass video about a book. I had a hard time deciding which one to start with because obviously there's so many I want to talk about, but this is one that I read a while back, I enjoyed, I talked about it a bit on TikTok, but I really wanted to do a deeper dive. Today, I will be talking about Hex by Thomas Olda Huvelt. Again, my apologies if I butchered that. So, for this first review, I thought I would keep it simple and just use the same cocktail that I used in the original TikTok for this same book, which was a spellbound cocktail. First of all, I thought it perfectly fit the vibe of the book. It's this really cool looking witchy drink. And second of all, it's one of my favorites. It's freaking delicious and I want an excuse to make it again. So, here you go. I really like this one. So Hex takes place in a tiny town called Black Spring. This town is haunted by this ancient witch and is under a curse where once you enter the town, you can never leave again. The origins of the witch and the curse are rather murky because it's been so long, the story just kind of gets watered down after so many generations. All we know is that the witch's eyes and mouth are sewn shut, except for a little corner of her mouth where she's constantly whispering little incantations. Nobody knows what she's saying. Her arms are also chained to her sides. She can only walk. This witch shows up somewhat randomly in different parts of town. After so long, they've kind of gotten her routine down, but there may be some evenings where she just kind of shows up next to someone's bed in the middle of the night or in the middle of the street during the day. Of course, everyone in the town knows to leave her alone and to never mess with her, to never cross her, but you get a few bored teenagers, anything can happen. One day, the strict routine is suddenly disrupted and things begin to unravel. So I went into this book very unsure because I knew that it was very polarizing. There were some that loved it and some that absolutely hated it. I wasn't sure which side I was going to fall on. I did take a long pause after the first chapter or so because I was getting bored. Honestly, this is a slow burn, so it takes a while before anything starts to happen. And then on top of that, it started to feel like it was going into sort of this science fiction-y 1984 vibe, which really was not what I was looking for. I did decide, obviously, to go ahead and push through and just kind of see where the book took me, and I'm really glad that I did. So yes, while it absolutely takes a while for things to pick up traction, once they do, it keeps building, keeps building, keeps building, and it never seems to stop. I don't know, this could just be my simple little brain, but at no point during the book did I know what was going to happen next. I thought I did. I really did, and then I was proven way freaking wrong. Okay, so first spoiler before I really get into it. Yes, the dog dies. Hard. I mean, technically, it kind of happens off screen, so it's not too bad. I was able to get through it, but of course, the implication is terrible. So, for the things that mainly sold me on this book. So, as I said, it takes a while to gain traction. Little things start happening. It starts to pick up a bit. But I feel like when we get to like the last maybe quarter of the book, that's when things really take a turn. I personally feel that as soon as Tyler, the main teenager, dies, that completely changes the tone and the voice of the rest of the book. I feel like the first 3/4 of the book just had this air of mystery. You want to know what's up with the witch, what's up with the town, and this sort of real slow building suspense with a little bit of a creep factor. And then as soon as Tyler dies, it absolutely switches. It does a complete 180 to this hopeless, ugly, sort of desolate, dreary sort of feeling. You just feel this heaviness, this ugliness, and sort of a sense of foreboding. And even though there's been little hints of it here and there throughout the book, you really start to see the mounting madness within the town. And that, my friends, is what creeps me out the most about this book. More than witches, more than curses, more than unseen monsters, but the absolute just hive mind, this mob mentality that the town takes on just out of terror, out of fear, and just the complete loss of any kind of reason. Their terror makes them need an explanation. They have to have a finger to point somewhere. And at some point, it doesn't matter anymore whether or not it makes sense. Also, a quiet woman from the town, Griselda, who worships the witch, decides that maybe a sacrifice might be in order to save her own self from any violence, anything terrible that might befall the town because of the witch's wrath. And the sad part about that is this woman really only worships and feels a kinship with this witch because she has projected her own feelings, her own experiences and trauma onto her. So even when the witch is finally able to somewhat communicate and tries to reach out to her and let her feel, let her hear what her story is, the woman is completely unable to receive it. And because Griselda's not open to it and is completely lost in her own fear, she misinterprets the witch's need to tell her about her pain and her tragedy and turns it into a confirmation that she must commit the ultimate sacrifice. And all hell breaks loose because the town finally loses their damn mind and brings it on themselves. And Steve, the father of the main teenager who had died a little earlier in the book, who tried to be the voice of reason within the town, finally loses his mind and succumbs to the madness. That ending hit me, and it hit me hard. So, obviously, to each their own, right? Some people don't want to wade through the minutia in order to get to the good stuff. I totally understand that. I had to really make myself push through, so I get it. So that's my take on Hex. I loved it. I know not everyone did, and that's perfectly fine. If you've read it, sound off in the comments and let me know what you thought. All opinions are welcome. No hate here, just a love for books. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to comment with some of your favorite horror book recs. Let me know what you're reading right now. Till next time, cheers.